I think one of my waking moments when I realized that good workers are just not appreciated. In fact, workers are taken advantage of. They get walked all over like doormats. And let me tell you about the experience of when I was 19 and I had all kinds of jobs, but this was the worst job I had, you guys. Being a deli clerk. I was a deli clerk, and I am no stranger to hard work, let me tell you this. But I've been working in the food industry for years. I was a pizza delivery driver before I was a deli clerk, but that job was such an eye opener. Yeah, it made me realize that hard workers are just not appreciated, and it doesn't pay off to work hard. Let me give you an example here. Your reward for hard work is more hard work. Let me explain. So, when I was working at the deli, I would bust my ass off and I worked fast and I worked efficiently. I remember doing this my first month, and I wanted to prove to them that I was a hard worker. I wanted to prove to them that I was a good part of the team. This young, ambitious 19-year-old. Anyways, so I worked really hard. I got put on the closing shift every single night. And if you already didn't know, bro, they throw the closer, they throw everything on the closers. So I had to clean up everything. And I worked really fast to the point where, not once did they look at me and they thought, hey, wow, this guy is working really hard. We need to give him a break for a second. We need to give him an extra hand. No, your reward for working hard is the mindset of like, oh, yeah, he can handle it. So it's actually worse, in my opinion, because not only that, you basically just inevitably set a standard for yourself now because they just look at you as like, oh man, yeah, this guy's a hard worker. This guy's a machine. He can handle it. Like they're not going to give you a break. Like they throw more hard work on you. So what incentive is there for you to bust your ass when you're just making the same as Joe Schmo on the left of you right here who's kicking it into third gear? When you do your task quickly and efficiently and you do it faster than expected of them, they want to squeeze out as much out of you within the time that they got you, bro. And that's just how the workforce is. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. They was basically milking me for all I had. I mean, it was to the point where I felt like I was in my work clothes more than I was in my regular clothes. And it felt like I basically just lived there. And I was just overworked. I was very tired. And I know what people are gonna say, like, oh, it's something you gotta deal with, blah, 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 blah. Hey, man, let's just admit it, bro. Nobody wants to struggle forever. You feel me? Like, I'm no stranger to working hard. And that job did teach me how to work hard. And that it is important to have a good work ethic. You feel me? But at the same time, like, it was just absurd. And like I said, I was working closing shift, right? And I will never forget this, bro, because the department right next to me was the bakery department. And man, I will never forget this moment. This older guy, this older gentleman named Manny, really cool dude in his 60s, he was the closer. And I felt kind of bad, bro. Like, so I would try to even clean up a little bit of his section just to kind of help him with closing and stuff like that. But I remember when this douchebag store director came through to our department. Can you imagine, like, this guy that's 20 something years younger than you coming up to you and you're in your 60s and this guy's like, hey, Manny, we need you to work faster. Like, hey, buddy, we need you to work faster, okay? Like, the nerve. I mean, this guy Manny, he was probably a little bit older than 60. Like, I bet you, bro. I'm just using 60 as like I'm guessing. You feel me? But honestly, bro could have been like 64, 65, if you can imagine that. It was insane, man. Like, I will never, never forget that as a 19-year-old. And I will forever keep that as a lesson, as like, hey, man, I gotta not only work hard, but I gotta work smart. Like, I gotta work smart because ain't nobody want to do this forever. Let's just be real with you, bro. Like, nobody wants to do this forever. And I know what it is to go through some tough times, you guys. Like, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You feel me? Like, I was a sign spinner. I worked at Papa John's. I did all kinds of things, you guys. Like, I worked all sorts of jobs. I was flipping burgers and stuff. So I'm no stranger to what it's like to go through tough times. But man, that was an eye-opener to just really, I felt like a number. I just felt like nothing but a cog in the machine, in just a huge machine. And the fact that I could have just dropped dead on the job, and the next day they would have had somebody just fill in my spot. On the positive note, I just want to say that I've seen this shift of mindset within the younger people where a lot of us just kind of don't put up with certain things no more. You know, and that being said, I feel that if we all work collectively and stick together and stuff, things can go back to normal again. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I don't even know what normal is. My bad. I don't want to say that. But I would just love to see it to the point where we just go back to times when, hey, you could have a part-time job or you could work. You don't have to have this crazy job, bro. Like, I just want to see times where you could just have a job and you can afford a small place, maybe a little food, and go out every once in a while. I mean, really, like, that's what I feel like most people want, bro. Like, most people just want to be able to live and enjoy their life a little bit. Like, it ain't that hard to figure out. You feel me? Like, in the 1970s, bro, you could be like working at a grocery store and feed your family. You could work at a gas station and feed your family. Anyways, if you guys have had a horrible job experience, feel free to share it down below in the comments. Let's have a discussion. Don't forget to like and subscribe.